The game is to dish it out and not take it. And then when your career is over, take your money. These people don't give a f about these people don't give a f about us.
Oh man, you know how I get. They love you and then they hate you.
See me, they don't like me because I'm a straight shooter, and I was able to become my own boss.
Floyd Mayweather has explained why he believes Gervonta Davis's career is over, revealing that he had previously warned Davis about the harsh realities of boxing. He also stressed the importance of fighters preparing for life after the ring.
Box, turn. The name of the game is boxing. The name of the game is not slugging, because when the fight game is over, when boxing is all over, and you hang it up like me, you still want to be able to have your faculties. You still want to be able to have your brain. That's more important than anything. The money. Your health is more important than anything. The name of the game is to hit and not get hit. And I was the best at doing it, and I'm going to continue to teach these young fighters. The name of the game is to...
Gervonta Davis has repeatedly faced legal troubles and personal conflicts throughout his career, with multiple arrests and high-profile incidents outside the ring. He has also had public disagreements with key figures in boxing, including Floyd Mayweather. His controversies have often overshadowed his in-ring achievements, raising doubts about his discipline and decision-making. Despite his immense talent, his ongoing issues continue to cast uncertainty over his long-term success.
Recently, Tank Davis decided to upload this on his Instagram. Not sure what's wrong with Tank Davis. I don't know what legal issues he's having because he has a hearing close. I'm not sure when the date is, but him and Floyd Mayweather have always had this weird relationship where sometimes Tank doesn't seem to be in good terms, and then sometimes they are in good terms. The energy is off. Let me know what you guys think that post means, what he's going through. I hope he's doing good, because we want him to fight, and we want him to fight really good opposition. So let me know what you guys think. What's going on with Tank?
Gervonta Davis's decision to leave Floyd Mayweather's promotion was one of the most debated moves of his career. While taking control of his own path may have seemed wise, many believe Mayweather's experience and guidance could have better helped him navigate the boxing world. As a legend of the sport, Mayweather understood the business side of boxing and had successfully built his own empire.
You know, so I don't want Tank to necessarily leave Mayweather. I think he's in this position because of everything that Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe have done for him. So I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career. Say that you want Shakur and actually fight Shakur. Say that you want Devin and actually fight Devin. You know, fight these guys. Don't keep making new names. Like, you gave Barrios a chance. You gave Isaac a chance. Like, you know, Gamboa. Like, those aren't the fights that...
In 2024, Gervonta Davis reached new heights in his career, delivering electrifying performances that captivated fans and propelled his popularity to unprecedented levels. With an unbeaten record, he was regarded as one of the most dominant fighters in his division. His pay-per-view numbers were strong, and his star power was undeniable.
So, as of 2024, the brand of Tank Davis is one of the most commercially and financially successful ones in all of boxing, standing shoulder to shoulder with Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's so successful, in fact, that a lot of people say that Tank's popularity outranks his actual achievements, pointing to several different instances where it seemed like Tank was avoiding the best competition in his weight class and getting preferential treatment based on who he is and who he's associated with.
Despite his success, Gervonta Davis has faced criticism from some boxing analysts and fans. Some argue that he is overrated, particularly among casual fans who may not fully grasp the sport's technical aspects. While his knockout power and flashy style have earned admiration, skeptics highlight that he has not consistently faced the toughest competition in his division. Many believe that while his record looks impressive on paper, it lacks true tests against elite opponents, making his dominance appear somewhat misleading.
He's still on the air?
He said Tank is...
Hey, yo, they did Max Kellerman dirty for real, but go ahead, bro.
He said Tank is
overrated by people that don't know boxing, and he's underrated by people that do know boxing. And what he
That's
meant,
buzz.
What he meant by that
That's
is
buzz.
that-
I agree with that.
What he meant by that is that if you don't know boxing, you don't know who's
A major criticism of Gervonta Davis is the quality of his opponents. Analysts suggest that his team has carefully chosen fights that favor him, avoiding the most dangerous challenges. While this strategy is common in boxing to protect a fighter's marketability, it has raised doubts about whether Davis is truly being tested at the highest level. Fans have been eager to see him face tougher competition, but many believe his resume still lacks defining victories against the best fighters in his division.
Gervonta Tank Davis is one of the most overrated fighters in the sport of boxing right now, and not because of his skills, but because of his resume, and resume does matter. In my opinion, he's a victim of what I call Terrence Crawford syndrome, where you have a really bad promoter who only wants you to fight in promotion fighters who you know that they can 100% beat. If Tank Davis wants to be great, he's going to have to fight one of the other champions in the two divisions that he fights in, 135 pounds and 140 pounds. I'm going to list off all the champions in those divisions and tell you if I think he can beat them or not. So first we got the only other full champion in 135 pounds, Shakur Stevenson. If they fought, I think Tank has a good chance of maybe knocking him out in the later rounds. But if I had to bet my house on it, I would say Shakur Stevenson would beat him in a close decision, and it would end up probably being a boring fight. But I think Shakur has the skills to beat Tank Davis over a long 12-round fight. Now we have Subriel Matias, who's a scary Terminator-like fighter who gives up the early rounds to come on later and drown you in those later rounds. But he's very stiff and he doesn't have very good footwork at all. I think Tank Davis will probably, box his face off for most of the 12 rounds. There might be some trouble in the late rounds. But if Tank can stay out of trouble, I think this is one of the few champions that he would beat, but I don't think he would fight him.
After his fight against Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis faced intense criticism for failing to secure a knockout. Roach had moved up in weight to face Davis, and many expected Tank to dominate. However, Roach's ability to go the distance and keep the fight competitive raised doubts about Davis's performance. Critics argued that a true elite fighter should have been able to stop a smaller opponent, suggesting that this fight exposed weaknesses in Davis's abilities.
For me, Tank Davis fighting a minus 1600 as your main event odds is crazy to me, dude. That's crazy. That underdog lived up to the hype. He ended up, overperforming. Lamont Roach, credit to him, all this other stuff. And it took some politics to keep Davis as champion. You ever see guys getting the referee their own fight? Dude, anybody else takes that knee, you're getting counted, bro. The referee, actually, his instinct, if you watch that, the referee's instinct was to count. If you notice, Steve Willis started counting, and then he looked at the timekeeper outside the ring, wasn't counting, and he stopped counting. So you get to call your own timeout. Earlier in the fight, if you saw that shoulder barge that Tank did to Roach in the clinch, he didn't get a warning, but Roach's reaction got the warning. This is the politics we're dealing with. You keep doing this, you're looking at short-term money and long-term destruction.
Ryan Garcia, a fellow lightweight star, weighed in on Gervonta Davis's controversial ninth-round moment against Lamont Roach. Garcia argued that Davis, taking a knee, should have been ruled a knockdown under boxing rules. His comments added to the debate over the fight's officiating and whether Davis benefited from a favorable ruling. This incident further fueled calls for a rematch, with many believing the fight's outcome was influenced by questionable judgment calls.
The knockdown with Tank.
That was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
Well, they said
and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot, but you can't do that shit.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it.
Following his fight against Lamont Roach, many fans began to question whether Gervonta Davis is as skilled as he is often portrayed. Seeing a relatively lesser-known fighter challenge him raised doubts about his preparedness and ability to compete at the highest level. Fans expected Davis to dominate, but instead, they witnessed a competitive bout that exposed potential weaknesses in his game. Ryan Garcia also weighed in on the controversy surrounding Davis's 9th round moment, arguing that his decision to take a knee should have been ruled a knockdown. Garcia stated that the commission should address the issue, as allowing such incidents could set a dangerous precedent in the sport. While clarifying that his comments weren't an attack on Davis, he emphasized the need for fairness, pointing out that if his own fight result was overturned for integrity reasons, similar standards should apply to everyone.
Lamont Roach goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Roach. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. He was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and he was relying on one big shot. I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach 4 the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. By rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. Lamont Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. Landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Ryan Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight. But overall, good card. I do think Roach won the fight though.
During his fight against Lamont Roach, Gervonta Davis was seen shouting at his coach Calvin Ford in the corner. As Ford attempted to wipe sweat from Davis's face and give instructions, Davis interrupted, saying, "You got to stop and listen to me." This exchange raised concerns about his mindset and willingness to take direction from his corner.